Hello Pisces, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Pisces is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Pisces, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with a Prince of Wands, very active energy. It's air and fire. It is a lot of thoughts. It's a lot of energy, a lot of activity, right? I feel like you're somebody right now who's really you're really fired up about something. I think that you're having a lot of ideas and you're having a lot of energy pursuing those ideas. I think you're somebody that can... Right now, you can sustain your interest in something for the long term, okay? This isn't a flash in the pan. It's not something, it's not something that's kind of already waning. This is something that is really powerful, and it's your ability to keep pushing forward with what you're doing, right? There's a sustained kind of energy level, enthusiasm, and interest, right? This is something that is, I think, very demanding, right? I think your life is very busy right now, but I think you're the type of person that is, at the moment, a little bit more extroverted than usual, right? I kind of feel like Pisces is, you hold a lot of stuff in. I think you have a very charming personality, a very energetic personality. You like to smile, you like to laugh, you like to have fun, but there's always this sense of privacy, right? There's always this... There's always a pretty well-defined boundary for you with other people, you know. So people really have to get to your inner circle in order to understand exactly what you're all about and who you really are. So I don't know where this energy is applying right now. We're going to have to take a look at some of this, some of the other cards to see where all of this, like I said, more extroversion, a little bit more external focus right now for you. Okay, so I think there's a lot of things going on in the world around you, and I think you're enjoying it. You want to be there. You want to be doing all these things, right? It doesn't seem like it's really a time for hermit mode, you know? It seems kind of the opposite. It kind of seems like we are focused on the outward things. Maybe that even means that there's a need to kind of reestablish the connection internally, right? Well, let's see. Let's put this into some context. What else is going on? We've got the Two of Swords. Okay. You might be, focused on this external activity because there is something very important that you're working on. There's a very, I don't know if it's an urgent kind of matter for you, but I feel like there's something that you have to kind of choose a direction in a way. This card doesn't always mean that there's a fork in the road. It doesn't always mean a crossroads. It doesn't always mean that there's really a big decision to make. There could be. But I feel like this is our need to get out of our head a little bit. Okay? And like I said, this card is air and fire, right? And we've got this impulsive, this enthusiasm, this fire energy. And then we've got this air energy that is trying to stay on a particular course, that's trying to stay fixed in that fire energy. But it really could be that there's a conflict between your kind of impulsive fire energy, that creative energy, that spontaneity, that just kind of pure and raw consciousness, and the intellectual rational mind that's saying, maybe I want to go this way, even though, the fire energy, your ambition and your enthusiasm, your energy is going in a different direction. Okay. So there could be a little bit of a battle between, in a way between your heart and your head. And heart not in the sense of emotions, but in the sense of passion, right, of will and of this kind of motivation. Okay, so in that sense, maybe we are at a crossroads. Well, do I listen to my head and go that way? Or do I just, it feels kind of right energetically to go this other direction. Who am I supposed to listen to, right? Well, I think the Two of Swords shows a way to transcend that kind of false dichotomy. And that's through the lunar energy, right? At the very top of that card, there's a little crescent moon. And that's because it's not really about, do I follow my head or do I follow my passion and my will? The transcendent aspect of that would be kind of a blending of both, right? Combining both of those together and finding that kind of intuitive way forward, which is a little bit rational. It's a little bit just kind of, instinctive and energetic, right? So I feel that there's kind of, it's almost a hesitation in you right now where there's something that you really feel to move forward with, but then there's that rational component of it that's maybe even holding you back a little bit. Or maybe really, if we have this air energy with the Prince of Wands that is kind of fixed in this current course, let's say, right? All this consistent activity in a certain direction. Maybe the challenge for you right now is allowing yourself a little bit of freedom of movement, right? Allowing yourself to kind of experiment in this way and that way and give yourself a little bit of a wider berth or a wider lane, right, to operate within. Because this is fixed fire energy. This is saying, this is my will, this is where I'm going, straight ahead that way. And nothing is going to push me aside from that. Nothing's going to throw me off balance. Well, except for our own mind, right? So it could be that there is just these other things that you're thinking about, but it's almost like we're trying not to listen to that because that's going to take us a little bit off the main. We're thinking of going 0 degrees, true north. Maybe we need a little bit of leeway, a little bit of a degree of tolerance, or give yourself some space to be a little bit creative and be a little experimental while still staying on the basic path, right? But not being so strict or so rigid with ourselves. Let's keep going. Let's look at another card here. Oh, look at that. Star card down beneath everything. This is your soul, right? This is the star card. This is spiritual insight. This is you knowing, and I think this is why we've got the fixed fire energy, because you know that this is your path. You have a clear sense of your own destiny. This is kind of who you are underneath the surface, and I think you have a very clear idea of who you are and why you're here. Maybe we don't realize that. Maybe it's not 100%, right? But there's that, at least that kind of, there's that subtle suspicion that this is something big, that this is your destiny, that this is where you are supposed to be, right? And the more the light comes into us, see, the star card is about that divine energy coming in from above, and that's illuminating what's within you. So it's showing you who you are and what you're about. And really what you're about right now is this ability to really stay the course, to really commit to your path, right? And once we have that inner illumination, the star card then shows us the path forward. Some of that light then spills out, and we see it's coming down at the bottom. That light shows us the path forward. And so it could be that our mind is really taking that and holding on to it in a very literal, very, very strict way. I know my destiny. My destiny is to be, the author of a book, or to whatever, to do this one thing. That's my fate. That's my destiny. So the rational mind likes to kind of make sense of things, obviously. Wants to say, okay, I've got this kind of intuitive feeling. I feel that there's this enlightenment happening. I feel like I know who I am. I know where I'm supposed to be in life and what I'm supposed to do. The mind holds on to that very, very tightly and makes it into an absolute law and rule for ourselves. That's what I'm supposed to do. There's no room for movement there, you see. And the Two of Swords, I think, is saying that we can't be so strict. We can't really define ourselves in that way. Okay, so really it's about what we believe to be true about ourselves might not be so rigidly true. We have to be flexible. We can't look at life as it's either I'm on this particular path or I'm off the path. Well, maybe there's a little bit of wiggle room, right? Maybe it's a little bit more of a kind of a serpentine movement here. But the Star card is very lovely to have underneath everything. And I think that this is, it's what's within us. It's kind of our soul energy, but sometimes it can be a little hidden from us. Okay, so I think that it's really the mind trying to discern what this destiny is. What is this feeling? What is this enlightenment truly revealing to you? And of course, the mind likes to put things in categories. We have the Two of Swords, so it's kind of like we are, almost in some ways, there's the challenge here is not to ruin a good thing by overthinking it. Not to take what is a very spiritual experience and bringing it too far into the intellectual realm. Okay? Being too intellectual about it, too defining, too categorizing, right? I put things over here, I put things over there because they're different. Doing that too much, I think, is going to ruin a bit of that spiritual experience of life. We need to do it, but maybe not too much, right? So let's see what else is going on behind the scenes. Two of Cups. Okay, interesting. That's in the background position. I feel like the Two of Cups is, in some ways, it could be some energy that's holding you back even. It's something that I believe has been experienced in the past. And what I see with the Two of Cups is an absolute falling in love with something or someone. Card's called love. Could be romantic love. I know. Whatever it is, I feel like you've fallen absolutely in love with something, a person, a place, a thing, an idea, an abstract notion, a sense of purpose, right? And it could be that one that you've fallen in love with writing or being a writer or, something like that, something quite specific even. And then because of that, see, we've got a 2 and a 2. We've got the mind that comes in and says, okay, that is what I'm supposed to do and nothing but that. And it becomes this very strict, very rigid law, right? I'm supposed to be a tarot reader and that's what I'm supposed to do. And anything that might not be part of that path seems foreign and alien and I don't want it. I reject it, right? Because the mind kind of takes something literally. Now, I don't believe our fate or our destiny is really about that specific thing that we're doing. I don't think it's about what we're doing. I think it's about how and why. Okay? So I don't know if your feelings are changing about something or if there is this impulse to have a little bit of wiggle room, to explore and experiment, to kind of push the boundaries of what we believe to be ourselves or our path. Okay? And it really, there could be a crossroads here. Okay? It could be really a conflict between what Spirit is revealing to you versus what you've already kind of experienced and committed to, and now we're in this fixed fire energy, but the Two of Swords is wondering, who do I follow, right? This is literally the heart falling in love with something, and this is something a little bit more profound for you. So it might be that while we have fallen in love with something, let's say it is a particular career path, right? Or a particular course of study in school. And so you've decided to major in healthcare. Okay, you've fallen in love with healthcare, right? Two of Cups, that's what I'm going to do. And then the mind is trying very hard to keep you there. That's what I got to, even though I'm starting to have these other feelings over here, maybe I want to go into business. Maybe I like law or something, right? And the mind is saying, no, healthcare. We've already decided. We've already committed to that. We've already had the experience of that, and that's it. But then there's something underneath the surface that I think is enlightening something else. And maybe this is a way of, we're blending business and healthcare. We're blending, law and healthcare together or something, right? But the mind doesn't like to think that way all the time. The mind sometimes just think, no, the Two of Cups, we had that experience, and now this is what we're doing. Absolutely, this is the rule. This is the law. There's no changing it, right? Let's keep going because, there is something to be said about that kind of commitment, that kind of concentration. And it might even be that there is a temptation to go in a different direction, that you're on this, let's say, healthcare path, That's what we've fallen in love with, right? But then maybe the Two of Swords is the mind, instead of trying to fix you on that path, is saying, this is boring. Why don't we go try the business? Why don't we go try legal? Why don't we go try, I don't know, being an artist or something? Let's choose a different path. Come on, it'll be fun, right? And so we could look at that in that way as well, okay? But it all comes down to what's going on in your thoughts, in your thinking apparatus, I think, is there's a conflict there. Whether it's you really feeling as if you should go a different way, and your mind's saying, no, we got to stay here, or the other way around. And we can look at it from both sides, okay, and take it how it resonates. Let's see what's up above everything. We've got that fixed air energy now. We've got the Prince. Now we've got the Prince of Swords. So we have the fixed fire and the fixed air, right? And this really what you could be experiencing is this desire to stay the course. You want to be committed to this path that you're on, but there's something, whether it's this mental apparatus with the Two of Swords, that's saying, hey, come on, let's try something else. Let's go a different way. So is this a test of your concentration, of your commitment, of your willpower? Okay. And I think really what we've got to do is make contact with this star energy to see which way is true, right? What is this thing in you that wants you to go a different direction? Is that spirit? Is that your soul? Is that the divine energy? Or is that your mind just kind of saying, I'm bored, let's go do something else, right? And it takes the spiritual insight, your higher discernment, to figure that out. I can't tell you. Maybe the next card will tell us. In the future position, I kind of feel like the mind is here to just upset things, right? The mind wants to take something that we've committed to, that we've found this thing that we love and that we want to stay fixed on and committed to, and we have invoked our willpower, and we want to stay the course, but then the mind is trying to split things up. The mind is trying to divide itself against itself, right? Which will lead to nothing but just kind of chaos, right? A confusion, disorder. Okay, so what it's appearing to be, to me anyway, is that there is these thoughts that you're having, and that I think is the big challenge for you right now, is just these thoughts that you've been finding yourself thinking more and more about going that other direction, right? Maybe it's a relationship thing. The Two of Cups can be a lot of things, but it's something that I think you've really fallen in love with. A particular job, a particular person. It's kind of like you've fallen in love with having this cat, and then you're enjoying this cat, and then you find yourself more and more having these thoughts of, I should have got a dog, right? Or I should have got a snake or a lizard or something, or a little guinea pig. So it needs to be recognized what that force is in us that is trying to convince us to go a different direction, okay? And sometimes it might feel like, oh no, it really is spirit, it is this divine energy that I must have made a mistake, that I'm supposed to go this direction. Sometimes the mind can present itself as the divine energy, right? And so we have to be very discerning about that. And of course, with that Five of Pentacles in the future position, this is what the result of this path of energy will be. It will be change, but is this going to be change for the better or not? I mean, it's not very definitive, right? So let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. It's going to go right here, Frankenduck right on top. Still need a new name for Frankenduck. Shelley was a pretty good suggestion that I like. If you have a prediction for this card, drop it in the comments. If you've got a name for Frankenduck or Shelley, put it down in the comments. We're going to talk about the path of the serpent now, and as we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free, doesn't cost anything. And it really does help out the channel, and I appreciate that. If you are already subscribed, thank you so much. Be sure to check your subscription, because people have been saying that they've been like unsubscribed automatically from some of their favorite channels. There have been some reports of that. So if you want to stay subscribed, make sure that that button's still pushed on the page there, okay? All right, general energy now, Path of the Serpent. We got that Sun card. I feel like this is kind of, this is, in a way, this is your persona. And I think that there is this, this similarity between these two cards, right? What's underneath the surface is this star energy, the idea that we have had that revelation of what our goal is. And then this is the Sun card, really it's just the star, but up close and personal where you can see it. This might be that energy that's still kind of abstracted, but this is really personal, really close to you in your life. And it might be this realization that of clarity, right? Sometimes this Sun card, especially in the position of the persona, can indicate that we might believe air energy, these thoughts. We might believe that we know more than we do. We might even be mistaking the intellectual energy for the spiritual enlightenment, for the true self, higher self, soul kind of cosmic conscious perception, right? And sometimes the intellect can masquerade as the divine consciousness, okay? So if you're having thoughts that are trying to get you to turn away from your path, we have to decide if that really is spirit talking, or if that is the mind, the intellect, masquerading as the enlightened, spiritual consciousness, okay? But then, we can look at this another way, and I'm glad that we're looking at both sides of this, looking at it from kind of opposite directions, because that's exactly what the Two of Swords is asking us to do. Look at this from both sides, the kind of the two basic ways that we're interpreting this, and see which way really resonates with you. So there's a reason why we're doing this, and it could be that the thoughts that are trying to direct you toward really changing your life in a big way are either just the mind trying to throw you off your kind of true will, or it really is spirit and your divine consciousness trying to direct you toward your true will. And we don't know that, and it could be either one, right? It can't really be both. So we know that change is coming in the future, but we don't know if this is now the consequence we do not want. I want to stay doing my true will, which would be this vertical path here. I want to, I want to continue doing this path, and so I'm not going to listen to those thoughts that are asking me to really disrupt everything that I'm steadily kind of committed to right now, right? Otherwise, we would be going in this direction, and we would say, yeah, maybe I was mistaken that this was my true will, and maybe this is the divine solar energy speaking through my conscious mind and telling me that I need to make some changes, and it's going to be disruptive, and it's going to be a little chaotic for a time, but in the environment here, we've got the Knight of Pentacles. Okay. Knight of Pentacles is, it's kind of a card of karma. It's the card that is looking into the future. The Knight of Pentacles, this is in the environment. So I feel like you're looking at your life. Maybe you're looking at these two, let's say it's two separate paths. You're looking at each one, and you're trying to ask yourself and maybe feel and try to have this kind of higher illumination. Can I see myself on that path in a year, 5, 10 years? Right? What is the result of this path long term? What is the result of that path long term? Yeah. And I feel like this is kind of what we're trying to do, and this might be even part of this intellectual energy. It might be more of a rational exercise. Logically speaking, do I see this as being a good path for me? Can I see myself doing this for 5 or 10 years? Right? And sometimes this energy can put us too far into the future, that we start living kind of in the future. And we start imagining, what our future self would be and what our life will be. And it's good. This is a very good exercise. But we have to be able to bring that energy back, kind of reverse engineer the future that we want. Bring it back to this present moment where you're having this, you're committed to something, you've been steadily committed to something, but then you're starting to have these thoughts, these kind of contrary thoughts. Okay, and there's a reason why these contrary thoughts are here. See, what is there we go. There's the higher spiritual discernment. There's the higher mind. There's the justice card. And this is the difficulty. The difficulty really is weighing the value of, really weighing the significance or the value of our conscious mind, our intellect, the rational mind that's kind of generating all these thoughts and is kind of, it's creating a house that's divided against itself. Okay, I think there's conflict within you about, should I stay on this path or is this other path? Why am I having these kinds of these thoughts about going in this other direction? Should I go in that direction? Should I experiment in these other directions? We start to ask all these questions, and before we know it, these fixed energies break down. And we're left with this. But it might be a situation where we have to invoke a little bit of change and a little bit of chaos before things can truly stabilize. It could be with the Knight of Pentacles that what we're doing is we're trying to, and this is a trick of the mind as well, the mind is trying to say, do what I'm telling you to do because look at the future you could have. It's kind of like dangling this really huge carrot in front of you that's really, really far away and saying you can have this, if you listen to me. It's kind of it's that temptation, right? And it's maybe even you've been having these visions or dreams or these intricate, complex thoughts about this theoretical, hypothetical, amazing future, right? And it's kind of the mind saying, look, we could change course or go this way or that way. And it could be so much better. It could be so much more fun. Look at the kind of future that you could have. We have to be able to recognize these kinds of visions for what they are. There has to be a way to authenticate those, right? And really, that's the difficult part, and that's why the Libra energy is in the position of the obstacle. The obstacle is using our higher discernment to judge, really, to weigh the value of what the intellect, what the rational mind is telling you. Okay, so I think right now, primarily in your life, there's a struggle with these thoughts. That's what it comes down to. We're struggling with these thoughts that are trying to convince us to do something other than what we've been doing. Okay, and listening to those thoughts will bring about change. Whether this change is for better or for worse, I don't know. Let's look at another card. See what the Destiny card is. Well, now we've got more fire energy. We kind of have an upgrade from the Prince of Wands. Now we've got the Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands is a card that is both water and fire. See, water and fire. And that outcome is basically saying that the path that is right for you is the one for which you feel this intense love. It might be the rational mind is saying, oh, this is boring, let's go a different way, this isn't leading to the future we want. Look at what's in the look at the future I can show you, right? But does this other path, is what the mind is telling you, does that have the backing of this kind of very fundamental true love kind of energy for you? Okay, because the Queen of Wands is one that is very aware of this kind of spiritual water, and really a combination of these two. That is the path that you're going to have to follow, even if the mind doesn't like it at the moment, even if it's boring, even if there are these various reasons that the rational mind can offer you why this is not the right path and why we should invoke the Five of Pentacles. But the Queen of Wands is one that knows their heart. and is able to stay on that path and is able to resist that rational mind if it's trying to convince us to do something else. It's basically when you know you're on the right path, but then you've got these contrary thoughts, right, that are trying to steer you in a different direction. Sometimes we just have to be mindful, right? Observe the thoughts. Let them pass. Just because we have the thought doesn't mean we have to act on it, right? And that's in some ways what the princes here are also telling us. Because, see, this is, again, air and fire. It's kind of like there's the thought in the air and then the fire. So we have the thought and we act on it, right? And then this card really here is kind of saying we have the thought, but it stays in the realm of the air. So there's a suggestion there that we can have the thoughts and we can look at the thoughts and I can say, thank you for your information. But it doesn't mean we have to then translate that into behavior, right? We don't have to listen to our own thoughts all the time. We don't have to act on them. Let's look at the mystery card. I got an idea what it is. I feel like this is going to be the moon card. It'll be your power card, but it also will show kind of the confusion and the kind of almost the misinformation of what the mind is trying. The mind's trying to lead us into darkness, it seems, with these thoughts, right? And so sometimes this path that you're on is transcending the intellectual energy. Okay, just as the intellectual energy can transcend the just kind of pure affective or emotional energy, right? We've got the feeling, well, then the mind can kind of override that, right? But then if the mind thinks it's the boss, which is the sun, if the mind thinks it's the boss, then it's cut off from the spiritual energy above that. So then the mind has to be kind of obedient in a way to that spiritual energy. And that spiritual energy is within you, and that's what we need to tap into. So I'm thinking moon card. Let's see. Yeah, look at that. Moon card. All right. Amen. I feel like this one is your superpower. Got to ring the bell. This is the idea that even if the intellect is trying to show you this future and saying, look at this beautiful future you could have, you know that there's no guarantee in that. You can see through the deception of your own mind, your own thoughts, okay? And really this, I feel like I haven't quite seen a reading like this before. Not really, I don't think I've seen anything like this. This is the realm of dreams and nightmares and confusing images, right? Illusions, deceptions. And I feel like this is the confirmation that the mind is trying to steer you in the wrong direction. You got to listen to your heart spirit, right? You've got to listen to not what your thoughts are telling you to do, but listen to what your heart is feeling and listen to what spirit is saying to you, and use this solar energy to get closer to that spiritual energy, okay? And allow the spiritual energy to rule over the intellect, because it feels like the intellect thinks it's the boss right now. The mind, the rational mind, thinks that it should be able to direct the course of your life absolutely, all right? But this, I think, is that confirmation that the future is a mystery. And if your rational mind is telling you that it can predict the future, we might want to be a little suspicious of that and take it with a grain of salt, and try to understand what the heart and the spirit are telling you. All right. Now we're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, there is a link up top. There's one down below. New readings for Pisces every Thursday and Sunday, 6 a.m. Chicago time. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Totally free. Doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment for me. Let me know where in the world you're watching from, especially if this is your first time here. Let me know. Give a shout out. Say hi. I would love to hear from you. Everybody is welcome. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.